Okay, to begin your project today, you want to pull out your exit slip from day 2, where you started brainstorming things that you could add to a giant U.S. map similar to the one that Jim Denomie painted in his painting Eminent Domain. If you haven't seen the giant map, I made one for your classes out in your hallway, and you'll be adding your small illustrations to that map as the day goes on. When I was doing this assignment, I was thinking a lot about the Trail of Tears, and something that I recently learned about the Trail of Tears. What I learned is that it's called the Trail of Tears not because the people on the trail were crying because of all the horrible things that were being done to them, but because the white settlers in the towns when the Cherokee, for example, were passing through would cry because many of them did not favor the Indian Removal Act. Even though they were getting land and they were starting a new life on this land, they did not want the Cherokee to be pushed off from where they were, and so it's called the Trail of Tears because as the Cherokee passed through these towns, the people, many of the settlers there, would weep. I found this really powerful because I think that it shows a perspective that you don't hear that often. So my drawing here is about the settlers' mourning when the Cherokee came through during the Trail of Tears. And where will it go on the map? Somewhere in the southeast U.S. I have to figure out where would be a good place where the Cherokee passed through small towns. And then whose perspective are you representing? And I wrote the settlers who were against the Indian Removal Act. Now, I'm going to choose one of these 3 drawings, and I think I'm going to do, I have a farmer here holding his hat and a shovel like on a pile of dirt, but I don't really like that one. I did one like a cloud raining on top of a house while the Cherokee were walking by. But that one's a little bit too small, so I'm just going to go with this one where the farmer is holding his hat to his heart and he is shedding a tear. Because we only have a short amount of time to do this, we're going to make small illustrations, and you can either use markers and Sharpies and maybe some watercolors if you have time. So draw your illustration again now. And this can be a symbol too. It does not have to be a person, does not have to be something as literal as what I'm doing. It can be more symbolic. It could be colors. You just have to have a reason for why you're making what you're making and how it relates to what you've learned about this time in history. So I'm drawing my guy here with his hat. I'm trying to make him look like he's got some overalls on. And then his other hand is around his fork here. Like that. Okay, now I've drawn this. I'm going to do his eyes down here, and I can add some little tears. And now I'm going to actually show you how to do it with a Sharpie and some watercolors. Take the Sharpie and just outline your pencil again. This way you'll be able to see it from far away on our big map. Alright, I'll come back. And now I can use my watercolors just to give it a really light coloring and coating. And I'm just going to do this without using a lot of water because I want this to dry so that I can cut it out right away. So I'm just going to kind of make him look like he's just wearing, you know, pretty dirty clothes. He's working hard. Maybe I'll make his hat a lighter color so you can see it better against his darker clothing here, like that. And I'm going to make his skin color light, of course. Okay, just kind of fill that in. Just real loose, not super exact, just to get an idea of what you're talking about and who this is without spending too much time. Your last step is going to be cut this out, so you don't really want to spend too much time painting it in. Just get some colors on there, get your subject matter taken care of, and now your last step will be to cut this out and add it to our big map. Your cutting doesn't have to be perfect, but try not to have too much of the background white left over. And then now's when you want to make sure you have an idea of where you're going to put it on the map so that it makes geographical sense. You also don't want to put everything in the exact same place. This is a challenge for one of the last classes of the day because you may have a place where you want to put something and someone else may have already put their drawing there. So you have to be a little bit flexible, and you can usually just put something close by somebody else's, and hopefully it'll afford you the opportunity to look at how other students are interpreting similar events in history, maybe using different perspectives or different imagery. Okay, so my last step will be to put some tape on the back of this guy and then go add them to my US map. Hope you guys have fun with this. I can't wait to see what you make.